Hello, this is The Way of Fairness. My name is Stephen Childs. I'm having some major revelations, or I'm becoming aware of some things more clearly. And years ago, well, let me go way back to. I want to move the coffee cup there. Okay, now I'm secure against the wall, so I'm not staggering around trying to stay on my feet. Kind of getting tired. Anyway, this is like really cool. Um, when I was young, we had sheepdogs, border collie. They became very popular after I was already very familiar with them, and my father was very effective, very good in working with the border collies and the sheep, and he was really he had some famous border collie dogs. And this was a long time ago, even before I was born, even. And I'm 66 years old. Okay, so there's been sheep and sheep herders for a long time. Not so much anymore. Um, the dogs were, they liked my dad. He did not abuse the dogs. And I don't know why my older brothers got caught by the authoritarian cultural structure, and so they were not as kind to the dogs as I am. So there was a particular dog that they couldn't do anything with. He would not do anything for my brothers. Nothing. He didn't care if they could have beat that dog and it wouldn't have done anything for them. So, people are shocked that people used to kick their dog or that kind of thing. Like horses, they have spurs on their cowboy boots. They're strap-on spurs, and they're like gouging into their rib. And I remember I had spurs on one time, and I touched kind of just, I guess I kind of pushed a little too hard, and my horse turned around and looked at me like, "What are you doing?" You know? So I took them off and I never wore them again. And so other people are more cruel toward animals. Now, maybe it's because my dad was dying and he had had a bad heart attack, and he might have become less cruel because of that. It might have changed him. I've often tried to figure all this out. So this dog that wouldn't, my brothers, they wouldn't do anything for him. They wouldn't come to him. They'd call him and he wouldn't come to him. He just wouldn't, he didn't like them. They said, "You want that dog?" And I go, "Yeah." And so I yelled at him one day and he sulked for half an hour. Whoa, I can't even yell at that dog. So I realized. So like I was really gentle with him, and he became really close to me. So because I rescued him from the abuse. You see my point? So I learned how animals really appreciate people that rescue them from abuse. So I go for a walk now, and they'll be like the day after there's a major attack from the cultural authoritarian attack upon me. It's a mental war, and it's a spiritual or a mental war, and they're trying to get me to surrender to the tyrants. They're the boss. I wish they knew what I knew. I think they're going to learn, because they're missing out on half of what life is about. They're not free. Let me explain why they have to be the way they are, because it's this authoritarian power happened to our parents. So my parents were controlled by it. It worked through the Bible God, the cruel Bible God. So they were surrendered to that. And so that God was more important than me. And that's the same power that rules the dogs, is that cruel God. So what I realized that I can connect with the dogs' minds. And we all can. They know what we're thinking. And so after I have a victory of defeating the tyrant that's fighting against me and other people like me that are trying to get free from abusive childhood. And it's not our parents all the time, it's the culture. And finally I saw that the guys talking about that. It's a cultural problem more than it is a family problem. And the root of it is bad religion. So the psychologists, they don't touch it. They don't say what I just said. Never. There's a few that are, but typically they're in big trouble if they say anything against religion. And if you have a religion that you can't criticize, if you can't tell the truth about that religion, it's a cult. It's along the lines of a cult that you can't speak the truth about it. And dysfunctional families are like cults. If, say, there's one of the parents that's got damaged so bad from neglect because the child wasn't important, only the God was important. So we got all these people that are all messed up. We're messed up inside. And I wish you could see how this happens. So I go for a walk, and the dogs pick up on my energy. I didn't get defeated. They thought the whole world was defeated last night. And I start walking by on the sidewalk, and they all start barking for happy. They're just excited. They're happy. And they're barking. And the next dog hears them, and then he starts barking. And pretty soon the whole neighborhood, all the dogs are being notified. Hey, there's somebody broke free of the tyrant. He's here. He's walking past me right now. And they're telling everybody this message, all the other dogs. And some of the people don't know, like I didn't know when I was a kid, and I thought you had to shut the dog up. So I'm out there, shut up, telling the dog just quit barking, and I finally learned, no, let them bark. It's important communication. I don't even know what they're talking about. Let them talk. And so I learned to let the dogs talk, and so then they start liking me. First they'll be barking at me because the tyrant's got control of them, the tyrant god. And so he tells them, that's an enemy. Get him. He's enemy. He's not in our pack. And I'm not in the tyrant's god's pack. And so finally I just learned to look at the dog and say, bite me. Go ahead and bite me. It's okay. Go ahead and bark at me. I'm here to help you. So I'm thinking that thought, and the dog's like, whoa. He's kind of confused, and then he looks a different way. Then he starts really barking fiercely at that other direction because he realizes I'm on his team and he's got some help teaming up against the tyrant that lives over a few blocks away. So I was just talking to my friend, and we were talking about getting free from this oppressive tyranny in our mind. And I said, listen to that dog. He's happy. And I explained to him a little bit about how the dogs pick up on us breaking free of the tyranny. And then I could hear dogs all over the place through the phone. And it was happening because I was talking to my friend, states away from where I'm at. And the same, see, our mind is non-local. It's everywhere at once. So I'll be sleeping and my mind is searching. It's finding stuff. I'm not in my body. I'm not out of body. It's like just the mind itself. It goes, and then you'll start dreaming of stuff. It's when you start dreaming of things and your mind's trying to go to find what the dream's about. And then these other guys, they don't like it. And they try to wake you up. And I had a guy that lived apartment over. And every time I'd start dreaming into a good dream, he'd start pounding on the wall to wake me up. Because, you know why? Because the tyrant started threatening him. Because my mind was not under control of the tyrant. What a tragedy. We've got most of the people on the planet that are under control of the tyrant that's in their mind. So what is it that's controlling you within your mind? It'll appear as fear, something you're afraid of. And if you're afraid of something, it controls you, or it's trying to. So be careful and get some more help. Go find some people that are in the process of breaking free from some kind of tyranny, and as a spouse or a religion, and get some support from some other people. You can contact me anytime, and I'll help you. And see, my heart has opened to the people that are suffering from this kind of abuse. So just telling you that I will help you, I'm totally emotionally hurt in a good way. It's good grief, Charlie Brown. Thank you.